In this video, I'm going to show you how to replace the rear wheel bearings on this Ford Escape. Let's get into it. Remove the lug nuts, use a 19mm socket. Remove the wheel. There should be a clip right here. This vehicle doesn't have it. It's missing, so use some needle nose pliers. Just grab the clip, take that off. Take these caps off. I'll just use a pick. Pop those off. Using a 7mm hex socket, loosen these caliper bolts up. Push those out a little bit. Just with a straight blade screwdriver. You can take those out after. And grab the caliper. If you have to, you can pry it out a little bit. Just using a little pry bar, pry the caliper off. Using a caliper hanger, just hang the caliper out of the way. Going to hang it from the bracket right there. Just make sure there's no tension on the brake hose. That's good. You can take the brake pads off. And we'll take these two bracket bolts out. Use a 13mm socket. Bolts out and slide the bracket off. Grab the rotor, slide it off. If it's stuck on there, you want to tap it with a hammer. Take the axle nut off. Use a 32mm socket. Now you just want to take a punch and just tap this so the axle is free from the hub. From the back side, we're going to take the bolts off. This one happens to be different. This one's an 18mm socket we're going to use for that. Your vehicle may be different. The rest of them, you're going to use an E14 socket. That's probably how all 4 of yours are. So use that and take those bolts out. Loosen that up. Pull those out. Another one on this side and another one up top. Get those out. And just take a hammer, just tap the wheel bearing and hub off. Just go back and forth. There we go. We're gonna punch the axle out. Slide that out. Just using an air hammer, or you can use a punch. That'll be fine. Now, if there's a lot of corrosion in this area, you want to take a wire brush and just clean this up a little bit. Just gonna take some anti-seize. Just put it where the hub would meet this area. This is optional, just to prevent it from seizing in there in the future. Take the dust shield, slide that on, take the hub, slide that over. Get this lined up and get the bolt started. And just put these bolts in. We're going to torque the bolts to 81 foot-pounds. Take the axle nut, get that started. Now, lower to the ground, I'm just going to use a pry bar between the studs. We'll torque the nut to 98 foot-pounds. Just to make it easier, I'm just going to put a lug nut on, just to hold the rotor on a little more level. Take the bracket, slide it over the rotor. Take the bolts, get those started. And torque those to 46 foot-pounds. Now we're going to compress the caliper. There is special tools that you can use to spin the caliper in as it compresses. Unfortunately, I don't have one that has the correct size. The pins need to be closer together on this. There's two little holes right there and they don't line up with the tool. So what we're going to do instead is just take some needle nose pliers and a pry bar or a screwdriver. We're just going to spin this in clockwise. Just go slow. If you notice that the caliper is coming out, you may have to do it counterclockwise, like if you're doing it on the opposite side. For this side, it is clockwise. Just go slow. Does help as you're turning it to try to push down. Put a little bit of pressure on it. Makes it go a little better. And it looks like that's all the way down. That's good. And take the caliper slide pins out. Just push those out. We're going to clean these up with some brake parts cleaner and a rag. Just wipe those down. Those look good. You can use a bore brush or a pipe cleaner style brush and clean out the bore. And I'll just clean these out. That's good. Now we're going to use a little silicone brake lubricant on the pin. You can put it in the bore as well. Slide that in place. Make sure it slides good. Do the same on the other one. All right, those slide nice. Take the brake pads. The one with the spring is going to go on the inside. The one with the two pins on top of each other are going to be on the outside. Take the hanger off the caliper. Slide it over the pads. And get the Get the caliper slide pins started. Now torque those to 21 foot-pounds. That's good. Let's just double check this one. Yep, that's good. Take these caps and slide those over. Now take this spring, line that up. Just push that spring in place. That looks good. Now install the wheel. Put the lug nuts on. Snug those down. Now I'm going to torque the lug nuts to 100 foot-pounds in a cross pattern to tighten the wheel down evenly. Go around again, double check.
When only the best will do, demand TRQ. The only company that lets you view before you do. TRQ is committed to offering the highest quality aftermarket auto parts that are engineered for peace of mind. Thanks for using and viewing with TRQ.